Hi, today I'd like to talk about something that I'm pretty passionate about. I've got to kind of work this summer with this, and uh, I've kind of got to see it firsthand. And it's something that I think is pretty cool. So I'll be talking about how smooth brome, which is an invasive species, has an effect on biodiversity, especially in like the Great Plains area. I first like to start us out with a quote from my boss over the summer that I got from a personal interview with him, where uh, someone was telling him that smooth brome is great habitat because he's uh, seen birds nest in it, and to which Mike replied, "I've seen deer alongside the interstate, but does that make it good deer habitat?" Obviously saying that sure they might be there, but that doesn't mean it's good for them. So to start us out, what the heck? So uh, the USDA defines an invasive species as an organism that's both native and likely to cause environmental harm. Uh, that show that smooth brome does kind of fall into that category. If you look over to this side over here, we've got a picture of how you can really easily identify smooth brome with this M or W watermark along the leaf blade there. A little bit of history about it. It was introduced to California in 1884 as a research project. And from there, pretty quickly spread across the United States. And that really was due to the Dust Bowl, which happened in the early 1930s, because it was a drought and the smooth brome is very drought tolerant. It's got a lot of water in it. So people were planting it during the Dust Bowl just so that they would have something that their livestock could eat. And it's known for forming dense mats that inhibit other species, and often that leads to a monoculture. And pretty much it just the new growth will come up and then fall over, and then the old growth will come right through it, and it pretty much gets pretty dense. So this is a difference between good and bad biodiversity. I took both of these pictures. They were actually relatively close to each other. But the one on the right here is pretty much a smooth brome desert. It's I can look in here and see pretty much exclusively smooth brome. And that's kind of what I'm talking about with how it forms a monoculture. And then if you look over here on the left, it looks much better for biodiversity wise. I can see a lot of like little blue stem in there, Maximilian sunflower, blanket flower, some sagewort, some switchgrass. Uh, Overall, I mean, there's a lot going on in there. And the reason why that's so important is because that a lot of the species that live in these kind of areas need to have good structural diversity. The best thing that was explained to me was if you think about an upland bird chick, it's about the size of a golf ball. And if you can imagine rolling a golf ball through like your 1970s shag carpet that's really thick, it's not going to make it far. But if you roll it over bare ground, it can roll for a long time. And that's a good kind of analogy here with all of these forbs, like the blanket flower, the Maximilian sunflower. It leaves a lot of open ground where like an upland bird chick can like run around and actually be able to move, which they won't be able to move really in this smooth brome field here. And also there's the benefits of the smooth brome kind of chokes out all of the forbs, which are essential for native pollinators. So that does not help our ecosystems anyways. Although I did find a pretty cool article that said that when smooth brome is in a higher stand, it it increases certain rare bacteria, which is kind of interesting. That while a lot of species can't or aren't benefited by the smooth brome monoculture, some of them are, which I thought was pretty cool. Finally, we'll get into management here. The three kind of things that are most common done is prescribed burning, which usually, according to one of the articles I found, you want to be kind of late spring with that, so April 15th to May 15th. That means that the smooth brome is there, but you're not going to burn out your warm season grasses, which you're hoping to kind of come in after that, which is the same kind of theory with the high intensity short duration grazing. You can do that one a little bit later, but if you go any further past June 1st, you're really going to be starting to take down those warm season grasses like the big blue stem and switchgrass and Indian grass, which is kind of what you would want to pop up after the after you get rid of your smooth brome. And then finally, you can always do a chemical herbicide application. A lot of times they'll even suggest that you'll do the high intensity grazing in the springtime and then come back to do some chemical herbicide application once it's the smooth brome starts growing again in the fall, because since it's a cool season grass, it grows in the spring and dips down in the fall and then comes back up. And if you take it down in the spring and use chemical herbicide to bring it back down in the fall, it helps kind of reduce it a little bit, which can help reduce the amount of monoculture that it can form. Overall, I think this is a pretty interesting thing that's going on. I think that the Great Plains native prairies are definitely under attack by smooth brome, which it's pretty difficult to kill. So hopefully we can find some good ways to fix that in the future. Thanks for watching.